In the heart of South Louisiana, Harold Callais embarked on a journey that exemplifies the quintessential American dream. Born in Golden Meadow in 1936, Harold faced challenges from an early age, starting school unable to speak English and navigating a time when even his French heritage was discouraged. Yet, through determination, intellect, and tireless work, he rose from humble beginnings to become one of Louisiana's most successful businessmen and generous philanthropist. From working as a janitor at his own high school to pioneering the cable television industry in rural communities, Harold's story is one of ambition, ingenuity, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to his family, faith, and community. His generosity continues to leave a lasting impact on the communities he cherished. This is his story.
Harold Callais was born in Golden Meadow, 1936, April 14th, and lived his life here. He started school not knowing how to talk English, and when he was at school, he used to get punished for talking French. At that time, they were trying to do away with French, and all of those that spoke French were punished for it. And to think now, our culture, everybody wants to know our background, our French background. In high school, he was a janitor to earn money too, while he was going to school. But he was very smart in school, and he was a very good student and did well. Harold was the first Eagle Scout in this area, and he was very proud of that too. And but he was really, really dedicated to the Scouts. And basketball, while he was in high school, he was number 64, a very good basketball player from what I understand. And Harold's ambition was to go to college, and he wanted to be an electrical engineer. He had to wait a year before he entered college after graduation because his sister was already going, one of the older sisters, and so he had to wait till there was more money. His dad, worked on boats. He had a trawl boat. And he worked on the boat with his dad for that year, and so he could earn money for college. And once he started college, though, he tutored to earn extra money. He tutored football players so that. As I said, he was very smart, so he did that to earn money to help him in college for extra spending, I guess, and all of that. But he also worked at a chicken farm, he said, at SLI, which is now ULL. But I don't know exactly what he did there, but he used to tell me he worked at a chicken farm. And after school, when everyone was getting drafted his age, he went, but he was 4F because he was deaf in one ear. And so they didn't accept him, which was kind of a good thing, I guess, for him, because he could start working and, doing what he wanted to do. And that was right before we got married that he almost got drafted. February 20th, 1960, we got married, and in St. Martinville, where I'm from. And then we moved to Golden Meadow after. And what's interesting, when we moved here, he says, I have a job for you. I already had a job. He lined it up at Terrio Dewey and Terrio Insurance. So right after we got back from our honeymoon, I had to start working right away. And at that time, he was working for Chevron. He would go offshore, and he'd go work 7 and 7.
Harold's ambition and curiosity pushed him beyond his early challenges, leading to a lifelong passion for innovation.
Later on, then he was able to start his ambitions, electronics. He loved all of that. He bought a building and had Harold's Appliance and Hardware, first of all, And then he named it Mike Electronics. Our oldest son was Mike, and named it at that. And he worked on radios and radars for boat companies and repairing them. He had to often go offshore to go work on them when they had problems, but that was he really loved doing all that. He used to read all the time, but not novels. He was reading up on cable. I knew nothing about all that, and that was in our early marriage days. And then I think it was in the 60s. We got married in 1960, and the early 60s he was reading up on all that. And when we'd go to the cable TV conventions, they were also interested in what Harold was starting once he got it started. And people in New Orleans had not had cable yet. So they came to our house and came over here to see what Harold was doing. And that's way before Ted Turner, too. So he was a pioneer in cable around here. And he had trouble getting investors at the beginning because he couldn't do it alone. So when he went to people, and I said, why pay for cable when we get it for free? And finally, he got a few of them interested that were willing to invest. And all of them, though, at first said, not unless you give us 51%. And he says, I'm not doing that. He says, I'm definitely going to have 51% if I do business with any of y'all. And it happened the way he wanted it.
When my dad started the cable business, it was CATV, community antenna. There wasn't any satellite, video. So it was bringing in distant signals, to rural areas. That's why it was only in rural areas. There was only the New Orleans stations. They had some from Baton Rouge and one from Lafayette that was on the system. And of course, you had 12 channels on your TV, so he had to fill up a couple of extra channels. So we did a lot of local origination. We would record dances. He'd put dances on the air. He did bingo and French programs, and he had DJs spinning records and on video and
Auctions.
yeah, we did auctions. He'd get the local businesses. Yeah.
But anyhow, that was when they were little babies, Mike and Corey. And then we had Peter and Paul later. But by the time Paul was born in 1968, cable was started. It was going around here.
My dad was good at trying to look at all the angles in his business to try to, you could say, squeeze every dollar out of that he could earn out of that business. Through the cable company, we supplied televisions, which my dad bought, and the cable service, so the patients could watch. The patients at the Lady of the Sea Hospital could watch TV. So every afternoon, my brothers and I would go to the hospital and go to every room, ask the patient if they want to rent, if they want to get the cable, and if they did, they would pay $2 for the night to watch the cable for that day. So he, like I say, he was promoting the cable company and earning a few extra dollars in a different way through the company.
We were bringing in a CBS station from Lafayette, and when the Saints games were blacked out, they weren't blacked out in Lafayette, so you could get the Saints game. So that was popular. But when it really took off was when satellite technology came in. Every time a new network was launched, it was a huge deal. From TBS, CNN, and HBO, MTV.
When the cable company was first started, there weren't a lot of things to put on there. for people to watch. And if you want to get them to feel something they want to pay for is worth paying for, they've got to have the content. So one of the stations he had in the early days, it was probably one of the first instances of the Weather Channel. It was this machine with dials and humidity and temperature and all this stuff, and the little camera that would just pan back and forth between all those weather dials. And another channel that he had on the cable was the classified ad channel. People would pay, anyone from the public would pay, I want to put, a 2-second clip, happy birthday, Dad, from your daughter and all this, or promoting Mike's grass cutting service or whatever. This channel was exclusively this classified ad channel.
We had the franchise in Lower Lafourche. Actually, he was the first, so he went to the parish to ask for the franchise, and actually the reporter for the Daily Comet was there at the parish council meeting, and he was the owner as well of the Comet. And he said, well, if you're going to give him the franchise for the South Lafourche, I want the franchise for North Lafourche. And they gave it to him. But my dad didn't ask for the whole parish because he was building it slowly. He didn't have a boatload of money, And then he got the franchise in the unincorporated part of Terrebonne Parish as well. And it was just as big as this system. We had, about 12,000 homes in each market.
Harold's entrepreneurial spirit and ability to seize opportunities set him apart, paving the way for ventures that shaped his community.
He was an investor in the early days of PC. A guy from New Orleans was making his own PCs and selling them, and my dad was an early investor in that. He had foresight.
In 1978, my dad had an opportunity to get into the garbage business, solid waste collection business, and my dad partnered up with Bob Falk, and they started solid waste disposal and got the 10th Ward collection business. And I remember they put in the trucks that service Golden Meadow, they put a Golden Meadow line on the truck. In Galliano, they put the Wildcat. In Little Rose, they had the Bulldog. 87, the AM/FM combo radio station in Golden Meadow was offered for sale. Actually, any local business that was for sale, they wanted to sell, they would come to my dad. Between all of our businesses, the boat company, we built 60 boats, that business was on the Inc. 500 5 out of 6 years, and Sweetie Solid Waste Disposal was on the Inc. 5000 a number of years. We were the fastest growing independent garbage company in the state, multiple times. In the early 80s, my dad and some partners had an opportunity to buy 100% interest in Community Bank. So he got together with some other partners, and they bought it. My dad ended up buying each one of them out, and he ended up with 80% of the bank, which we still own today.
Well, once Harold had been in business for a long time, he he got to be on the Board of Regents, and he was the chairman even of the Board of Regents, and he was appointed by Governor Foster, and he loved what he was doing, and he helped schools a lot. In fact, ULL in Lafayette has a building named after him. He also helped Nichols. It was Don Lyo. He did a lot then to help Nichols, and they also named a building after him. At Nichols, it's a recreation building, the Harold J. Callais Recreational Building. He helped those colleges, so that's why they named the buildings after him, which was quite an honor, though. Harold loved to travel. I did too. So we had a motorhome, and we went all over. I think I've seen everything I ever wanted to see of the United States. You know, we didn't go abroad in it, but we did travel abroad too a lot. We went on pilgrimages, and he loved that. I loved that.
Another part of his being is his Catholic faith. I mean, he was a very strong Catholic, and he prayed a lot, and you know, he would take me and my brothers to Manresa every year, and we still go to this day. But my dad donated quite a bit to them to build new facilities there, and but he was sponsoring priests and going on pilgrimages. He was very, as was his whole family. You know, they're very good Catholics.
He had a audio tape. He'd listen to audio tapes when he was traveling in his car. One was the Rosary. He'd listen to the Rosary and pray the Rosary when he was traveling a distance. And I remember he had a audio, a CD, Trump's Art of the Deal, a book, audio book of Trump's Art of the Deal. But what I'm getting at is my dad was like making deals.
Harold's journey was defined by bold decisions and a willingness to embrace reasonable risks, turning challenges into opportunities to grow and learn.
One thing, though, that Harold had told me, you can work for other people, but if you possibly can, get your own business, make your money for yourself, if you can, and do the best you can in life.
My dad has always been very entrepreneurial and hardworking. I mean, when he was young, I mean, breaking heads on shrimp to make money, and being the janitor in high school.
He was not afraid to take chances. He did a few businesses that didn't work. He did more that succeeded than didn't, but he didn't mind if, he admitted to failure sometimes if things didn't work the way he planned.
When he saw an opportunity, he was willing to take a risk if it made sense. Some of those ideas, if he liked the idea and he trusted the individual bringing them to him, some of them worked and some of them didn't.
Harold always tried to help other people too. He was, I guess you'd maybe say a philanthropist, but he also helped his fellow man. And in that too, he gave money, to a lot of people, took risk in doing that or lending them money, knowing he might not get paid back. But if it was somebody that he felt he could help out, he did. He succeeded. He had a lot of insight and did very well and accomplished his goals.